everyone, I'm so excited about today's video because today we are going to be doing two looks with the Kaleidos Futurism 4. This is the Neon palette. I've already made a video on both of these palettes. If you haven't already seen that, I will link that up in the corner. This video should be up before these palettes launch, and these will launch on August 13th at 8 p.m. PST? PST, I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong, I'll put it up on the screen, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. So if you haven't already seen this palette, here's what it looks like. I feel like I need a little bit more time to figure out how I really feel about this palette. I liked it in my first impression, but I definitely need to just play around with it a bit more to really understand how I feel about some of the mattes in this palette, and I just want to have fun with this. So that's what we're going to do today. It's not going to be a very serious video. I actually got some wine here because, I don't know, I just felt like it. So I'm actually going to use a different primer today. I'm going to use the Smashbox Lip Primer. If you haven't seen the review or the try-on that I did with this primer, I'll link that in the corner as well. But basically, I really like this and I want to keep trying to incorporate it into my videos and like using it. So, you know, obviously things might be a little bit different with this palette now since last time I did use my MAC Paint Pot, but we're just going to try it and, you know, kind of see what happens. I did feel like my shadows went on way more true to color when I used this primer, which is why I kind of want to use it again. So I'm just going to go ahead and prime my eyes with this, and then we can get into doing look number one. Oh, if you're wondering why my hands are looking very discolored, is because I tried to refresh my hair a little bit today. Usually when I do that, I will mix some hair dye in with my conditioner, and I haven't used this hair dye myself. I always get my hair done at a salon, so I did that today, and both of my hands are just so stained, which is kind of crazy. It's never usually this bad, so I guess with this dye I need to get some kind of gloves because this is crazy. I mean, my hands are just, even my nails, like my nails were this kind of color and now they're purple, so I'm just gonna have to deal with that until I get them done again. So I guess what I'm gonna start off with today, that is the real question, because I did not plan this because I never plan anything. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to first go in with the yellow, and I'm going to put that into my crease, and then I'm going to do a bit of a three-colored crease, but I want to start with this color first so that I have something to blend the other colors into. So I'm going to take one of my new Sigma brushes. This is the E44. This is not one of their small blending brushes, but this is one of the larger ones. So I'm going to be pretty heavy with this and just really pack that into my crease. So I can already tell that this shadow is performing much better just like laid out on its own than it did in my first impression when I tried to use the shadow to blend out. I think it was the orange I used, or maybe it was the red, but when I used it to blend something else out, it was definitely a little bit more just muted, but using it on its own, it's definitely looking to be way more opaque. Again, it seems like it does oxidize, which I feel like is very common with neon shadows, that once you put them on, like you can see now, if I just leave it like very packed, it looks very intense, but after a little while it kind of just oxidizes and gets a little bit darker, and like the neonness of it sort of disappears a little bit, but it's still a very nice, like vibrant pigmented yellow, so I don't really have any complaints with this, and I really think I can make this yellow pop if I were to put it over top of a white cut crease or something like that. So I'm gonna kind of leave the outer part here open as well as a little bit on the inner part, because I am going to put two different colors on each side, or one color on each side of this. So I'm actually going to have the lighter color be in the middle this time. I mean, I have a vision with this look. We're just gonna have to see what happens. I don't know if I'll be able to get it to come out the way that I want it to, but that's the fun part about trying, you know? You never know until you try. So I'm next going to switch to the smaller version of the same brush. This is the E34, and I'm going to go into the orange next, which I didn't use that in my first impression, so I'm going to go in with this. And I'm actually going to go ahead and put that in the inner part of my crease here, and I'm just going to stamp it on. And we're going to see how this layers. And I'm going to pull this about halfway across here. I want to make sure that the yellow is still kind of showing like above where I put this down, and then I think on the outer part here I'm going to go in with the green. I don't know how that's going to look, but basically my thought process is that I don't want to mix the orange in with the green, but I can mix them both into the yellow, and I can barely have them like meet right in the middle here. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know if it's going to, you know, look good and not get muddy, but we're going to try it anyway because it's just fun to try new things. And this orange is really, really nice and vibrant. I like this a lot. And if you didn't see my first impression on the primer, I honestly really, really like this so far. I'm hoping that I'll be able to use this more often, especially when I'm using like blue shades and stuff, because sometimes my MAC Paint Pot just doesn't perform the best with blue shadows, and it just makes them look a bit of a kind of different color, I guess. I'm actually going to go ahead and take a little bit of this just down to my lid as well and see if that will layer here. And maybe I'll do a bit of a weird halo eye. I don't really know. We're just going to put shadows on the eyes and just hope for the best, see what happens. I'm going to switch to another brush and I'm going to dip into the green now. And like I said, I'm going to be putting that on the outer corner of my eye here and also just blending it into the yellow that we have put down here. And maybe I should have done it in the opposite direction and done the green on the inner part since the green is a bit lighter than the orange, but maybe this will make for like a cool effect. I don't really know, but this is honestly laying down so much better than what I remember it doing on my lower lash line in the first look I did. So far I'm actually really happy with this. I think I'm going to go ahead and just wing this out a little bit as well because I can and I want to. And so I'm not going to make the orange meet with the green in the middle here. I'm just going to gently mix them both into the yellow. And I actually think that that gradient is looking really, really nice. I officially take back everything I said about this green in my first impression. I kind of feel bad now because honestly this green is so much better than I first thought it was going to be. I mean, this is just laying down so nicely. I guess it was just because I tried to lay it down on my lower lash line that it just didn't really do what I wanted it to do, but that kind of makes sense because a lot of shadows just won't perform that well on your lower lash line. So I really like how this is looking and I think this is going to turn out to be a really, really cool look. And then for the middle of my lid, I'm going to go into the orange shimmer here and I'm going to put that in the middle. Gonna pop that right here. And I don't know how centered I want this to be, if I want to pull it out a lot or not, but I'm gonna try to just put it in the middle of my eye for now and then we'll see how this kind of is looking. I might want to not make it like a very focused halo eye and just sort of diffuse it out into both the green and the orange. I think that's what I'm gonna do. And just kind of have this almost all over my lid here. So I am just going to put it all over my lid because I find that when I try to diffuse it into the green, it gets a little bit muddy just on the edges. So I would rather have a bit of an opaque layer just all over my lid here. And I think I said in my first impression that I wanted to try this shadow with some glitter glue and then I just completely forgot, but that's okay. We'll try to do that in the second look. So I think what I'm going to do for the lower lash line is I want to try to reverse what I have in my crease. So I'm first going to go in with the orange on the outer part and then blend it into the yellow and then meet the yellow up with the orange that I have in the inner corner of my eye. I think that would be really cool, but I'm actually going to go ahead and take a bit more of my eye primer and just prime underneath my eye as well. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the yellow so that I can use the same brush for both of these colors, and I'm going to place that in the inner part of my lower lash line here. And these shadows just perform so much better on the lower lash line if you do go ahead and prime first, which I feel like is very obvious, but I feel like a lot of people don't prime their under eye, me included. Let me know if you do or you don't, because I feel like a lot of us do our base first and then it's just kind of weird to go in with, you know, something else on top of like the concealer and powder that you already had put down. At least that's why I don't usually go in with eyeshadow primer, because I don't want it to look cakey underneath my eye. But honestly, I'm putting down so much eyeshadow anyway that if it does end up looking cakey, it just doesn't really matter. You can't see it. So I'm next going to go ahead and take the orange and I'm going to put that on the outer part of my eye here. I'm being very careful to not mix it into the green that I have in the outer part of my eye, which is why I was pretty careful with the application out there so that I would have a sharp line and not have to blend these two colors in together. Right, this orange is fantastic. This is such a good orange. I'm so impressed right now. Like, I'm definitely more impressed this time than I was in my first impression video, but it could also be the eyeshadow primer. It really could be. Like, I really like this eyeshadow primer. I'm so impressed by that as well. And I think this is looking pretty cool. So I think that's all I want to do actually for my eyes. I think for my waterline, I might go ahead and put the green just to like tie everything together. So this is Electric Daisy, I think, by Colourpop. So I'm going to put this in my waterline. I'm going to do some black liner and mascara. And then for my lips, I don't know what I want to do. I'm thinking I kind of want to just like run with the whole neon theme and do a very bright pink lipstick, but we'll see when I'm back. I'm going to do all that and then you will see the completed look. So here is the final look of look number 1. I think this turned out so fun. I'm not sure if I'm like the biggest fan of this lipstick, but I figure we're just gonna go with like the whole neon trend and just really go all out. So this is Watermelon Soda by Jeffree Star, and I thought that this would be like really bright and in your face. I'm not sure if I love how it's kind of like competing with the eye look. Maybe it would have been better to have some kind of a more muted lip, but I still kind of like this. And yeah, I'm excited to play with this palette again. This was so much better of a second impression than my first impression. I will say I definitely have some glitter on my face though. I have some glitter specks. So next time in look number 2, I'm for sure going to use some glitter glue, which I totally just forgot to do in this look. So let's just get into look number 2 because I want to keep playing with this palette because this is so much fun. Okay, it's time for the second look, and I'm going to use the same primer again because I really liked how my shadows performed on top of this in the first look. So we're going to use this again. For today's look, I want to do something honestly very simple. I have an idea that I've kind of screenshotted on Instagram, so I'll put that picture up on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. So I basically want to focus on using both of the shimmers in this palette, and then I want to do some kind of like a fun liner with a liquid lipstick, and I want to try to do it like in the same positioning that she has in the photo. I think that looks really cool, and I feel like that's going to work on my hooded eyes. So I'm going to blend this out, and then we're basically just going to get into it. I feel like this is going to be a very quick look, but I think it's going to end up being really cool. So I'm going to do something a little bit differently from what she has in the photo. I am going to put a matte into my crease, but I want that to be a very soft matte, so I'm just going to go ahead and set my eyeshadow primer today. And I'm also going to use a glitter glue with the shimmer shadow so that it really pops, so it doesn't matter if I just set this now. Because like I said, I want to be able to diffuse that crease shade that I have quite a bit. And I'll probably use the red, I'm thinking, and then try to diffuse it and hope that it turns a little bit more pink, but we'll see what happens when I go in with just like a small layer of that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start off by taking the red shade in this palette. So it's this one right here. I don't have the names in this because the slip is just, it's so annoying to keep the way that it's supposed to be kept in the palette, and it just like flies everywhere, and I lose it and then I throw it away. So that's basically the story with that. So I'm going to take a kind of very fluffy but small brush, and I'm going to dip into the red, and I'm going to really tap that off, which I don't really usually do. And I'm going to just start by very gently running this through my crease, and I don't want a lot of this. I just want a little bit of pigment for that pink shimmer to blend into. So I'm just going to put this very diffused into my crease here. I did use this in my first look and I was able to get very good pigmentation with this, but that's not really what I'm looking for in the look today. So that's why I'm just going very light-handed with this. And I'm also going to keep my shape here pretty round because I am going to do that little line that was in the picture, and I want that line to extend past where the shadow is on my eye. And I'm also going to make sure that I tuck this really nicely into my inner corner here. And so you can see you can go in with this very easily and diffuse if you want to, but you can also get maximum pigmentation with these shadows if you just don't set your primer and you go in with a bit of a denser brush and you really pack on the color. But if you wanted to, you can definitely get more of a softer gradient here. So this is definitely like a true red. Like I feel like I can really see that now. A lot of the time if you don't put like a lot of shadows on and you use a red, it turns a little bit pink. Even when you do pack it on, sometimes it turns pink, but this is definitely very red because I can't see really any tones of any other color on my eye other than just red, which is awesome because it's so hard to find just a true red eyeshadow. It's actually very rare that I take inspiration from other people's looks because most of the time I just kind of, you know, I look at the palette and I wait for the inspiration to come to me. But I saw that picture on Instagram the other day, and most of the time the looks that I see on Instagram are just not really made for my eye shape. I don't see a lot of people with hooded eyes on Instagram that either do like wearable everyday looks or don't wear lashes. And even though this girl is wearing lashes, I feel like it's the kind of look that you can easily pull off without wearing lashes. Not that you can't pull off every look without wearing lashes, but you know what I mean? Like, some looks are just so intense on Instagram that the lashes just like make the looks come complete in pictures. I feel like it's different in real life, but just like on Instagram, I feel like everybody is wearing lashes and it just makes everybody so unrelatable to me since I don't wear lashes. So sometimes it's hard for me to see past the fact that they are wearing lashes and see that I can actually wear that look because it's not their look. Am I making any sense? I don't know if I am, but For my lid, I'm going to go into the pink here, and I am first going to take my Too Faced glitter glue and just put that all over my lid. And I'm going to make sure to not put that glitter glue like too high up on my lid, because I am going to want to sort of blend that pink into my crease, and if I have a sharp line of glitter glue, it's going to be really hard to get a good blend here. So I'm just going to pat this and kind of try to diffuse the glitter glue out a bit, and then I'm going to go into the pink shadow in the palette right away and just pop that all over my lid. Oh, the shadow is just so beautiful. Oh my god. See, I really wish there was a pink matte in this palette, because being able to do a pink monochromatic eye would have been so amazing. Like, I really think that that would have been so cool, but I guess they didn't want to have a pink in a palette, and I have to just respect that, even though it would have been awesome if there was a pink matte in this palette, but this is still just so beautiful. So now that I've gotten it basically patted out everywhere, I'm gonna try to just take like the other side of this brush and just gently run that through my crease and sort of pat it into my crease. I just want this to be a very seamless transition, but I don't want there to be a bunch of glitter particles in my crease. I just want like a bit of the color to be up there. So this is basically going to be the lid, and then for my lower lash line, I'm just going to go in with this orange shimmer, and that's basically going to be it for the eye look, and then we're going to work on the eyeliner after. I'm pretty excited. I don't think it's going to be that hard. I don't really know though. I mean, I've never done anything like that, so we're going to see what happens. My only concern is that my inner corner is going to start watering if I get too close, but we're just going to try it and see what happens. But first I'm going to go in with the orange. Wow, I'm dropping everything. I'm going to go ahead and spray this. I feel like my friend Anya, if you guys aren't following Anya, I'll link her channel up there, but she drops something in every single video that she does, and it's just hilarious, and that's just like her thing at this point. And I feel like I've been dropping things in like every video too lately, and I feel like I'm becoming her, so I guess we're twins now. So I'm gonna go ahead and smoke this out pretty heavily under my lower lash line. And I don't know what I want to do in my waterline. I think I'm gonna wait until I've done my eyeliner and then see what happens. Or I shouldn't even say my eyeliner, because it's not going like on my upper lid, but just like my line, you know what I mean? Oh, this shadow is just so glittery and sparkly without having like actual glitter in it, like big glitters. I love this new formula that they have. And if you guys have been thinking about getting these palettes, I mean, I would highly recommend it, but I really love the brand, and so far I just feel bad for like my first impression on this palette, because I feel like I didn't really do it justice. Like, I feel like this palette is so much better than I first thought it was, and that's why I don't like calling my first impressions reviews, even though most of the time I feel like my thoughts are like pretty accurate to what I end up thinking about the palette after doing more looks with it. But with this palette, I don't know, I feel like I just didn't really do it justice in the first look, so I'm happy I was able to do more looks with this, and that I decided to, you know, make sure to not call that a review. Not that I would really ever call it a review doing one look, but, you know, it just makes me feel like I made the right decision at least. And I'm also going to make sure that I connect this orange with the inner corner shade that I have here, because I do want to have something just like in my inner corner for that liner to lay on top of, and I don't really have anything else I can put in here because everything else is a matte. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to do the liner. So I think I'm gonna use blue, and this is Jawbreaker, I think, from Jeffree Star. Yeah, it's Jawbreaker, so it's basically a blue. That's what she used in her photo too. Now obviously my colors are a bit different, but I do think that this blue is going to look really good with this look, and I might put some blue in my waterline after as well. I haven't really decided, so let me go ahead and see if I can find a brush that I am going to be able to be very precise with this. So I'm so mad I can't find the brush that I'm looking for, because the brush I'm looking for is like my favorite eyeliner brush because it's very thin and very stiff, but I'm going to use this one from Amazon. I got this from like a paintbrush set that I bought. So I'm going to try to do like the triangle thing here on the inner part of my eye. I'm really worried about this because a lot of the time like my inner corner will start watering very easily, so I'm going to have to try to like not get it in my eye, because then we're going to have a big problem. So yeah, I feel like this is going to either make or break this look, but we're going to give it a chance anyway and just like see how it goes. So I'm not going to talk while I do this. I'm basically just going to make a V in my inner corner. So that is so much harder than you would think it is. I don't know if it's because there's like, you know, like valleys and just like bumps on your eyes. It's not like just a straight line. I don't know, but I think that looks okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and do like the line on the outside here now. Obviously this is not going to be as hard, but I'm just gonna basically draw a line just like straight out here. And it's not going to be a wing, it's not going to be like a very thick line. Just a straight line like that, and I think that looks actually kind of cool. I'm gonna make it a little bit thicker just from like the underneath here so that it looks like it's kind of connecting with the line that I have in my inner corner. Like if you were to draw a line, I want it to look like it's drawn like straight across, if that makes sense. So I think that looks okay. So I think I did okay. I mean, it's alright, it's fine. So I'm gonna finish up my eyes. I don't really know what I want to do with the rest of this. Do I want to do anything crazy with this? I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't do any liner on top, but maybe I'll just do like a tiny bit of black liner, just like tracing the upper lash line, and then do some mascara. I'm gonna need something in my waterline. I'm gonna think about that, and then I'll put on a lipstick and I'll be back and show you the completed look. Okay, hi, I'm back. So I went a little bit crazy and I used Strawbreaker on my lips as well because I just thought it would be kind of fun to tie it all together. Now, is this something that I would wear out? Probably not, but this palette is very out there, so I figured I would be very out there because I don't really ever get a chance to wear a blue lipstick. It just doesn't really, it's not really my thing, but I just felt like with this look, it was just the right thing to do. So I decided to go for it. So let's see, what did I use for my waterline? I used the NYX Faux White in Vanilla. I wanted something light that wasn't white, so this is like a pastel yellow, and I don't know if it was the best choice I could have made. I feel like I could have chosen a lot of different things and it would have looked nice. I did a little bit of eyeliner. I just traced my upper lash line, and I just realized that the girl in the picture wasn't wearing false lashes at all, so that makes me feel really happy because it's nice to find someone that don't wear false lashes on Instagram, you know, they're few and far between, so I like that. I like that someone is willing to experiment with different kind of looks without feeling the need to wear false lashes, because I would totally wear this out if it wasn't super late at night and I had to take this off right now. I would totally wear this out. I would switch my lipstick to something a little bit more on the pink or neutral side, but other than that, I mean, I think this eye look is really cool and it makes me want to experiment more with doing different kind of liners, and like, not like, obviously I can't do crazy liners because I have hooded eyes, but something like this I can easily do, and just putting in little like accents of liners, I think this is like a really cool touch and something I want to experiment more with. So I'm really happy with this look. So to sum up with my final thoughts on this palette, I feel like I changed my mind from my first impression to my final review, and honestly I don't really have anything to complain about with this palette now that I've tried it more and I've seen how all of the shadows work both in my crease and on my lower lash line and on top of primer. My best tips is just to make sure that you have a tacky primer wherever you're putting down the mattes. That's basically it. So whether that's the lower lash line or it's on your lids and so on, just make sure that your eyeshadow primer is tacky and you're going to be able to get so much pigmentation out of these shadows. The yellow does oxidize just a tiny bit and it's not as neon on top of a nude eyeshadow primer as if you were to put it on top of a white primer, I'm sure, but I think that the formula of this is so good, and this is by far like the best neons that I've ever tried. I think these are really good. I think the new shimmer formula, don't even get me started. I mean, this is so amazing. Like, just look at the sparkle and the shine of that pink. I would also recommend that you guys use a glitter glue to prevent getting glitter specks on your face. I really don't have any glitter on my face today, whereas in the first look I did. I find myself having to like wipe away the glitter afterwards, which was fine because it did wipe away, but it's a little bit annoying to keep having like glitter on your face, you know what I mean? But this new formula is just so good, and I'm so grateful to be able to have tried out these palettes for you guys and be able to show them to you. So do keep in mind they do launch on the 13th. Like I said, if you were interested in getting these, they're also limited edition, which absolutely sucks. I wish they weren't. I hope they listen to us and they keep them permanent because these are so good. So good. I mean, honestly amazing. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm really excited to start playing with the turquoise palette as well. So that will be coming up. I hope you're excited about that. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you want to see some more multiple look videos that I've done, I'll pop some up on the screen, and if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!